Megan, such a pleasure to speak with you. And congrats on Moon Knight because it has some of my favorite costumes in all of the MCU. And I wanted to start with a question about the main character's costume, because I just love the mummy bandages that are in the suit. Can you speak to that choice? Because it's such a fun look. It plays into the Egyptian element. How is it coming out with that?
Well, I work very closely with the Marvel Visual Development Department because they have such a hand in it before I'm even brought on. So that was a very important detail from the director. And so incorporating that into the suit is how do we make it mummy, like the mummy bandages, but also modernize it. So how I did that was that I chose the fabric and then 3D printed on top of the fabric to bring layers and dimension and brilliance to it. So there's 5 layers of 3D print on the fabric, and then it's like pieced together. And FBFX was the team that built the suit in London. And at a certain point, they told me there was over 800 pieces to the suit. So
Oh,
it was
wow.
it was a major labor of love, but I think the outcome and like the result of like adding all of those details into it really, as you said, helped build a new character and new costuming in the MCU.
Yeah, and comics are really interesting in general, but especially this show because you just have so much to pull from. There's the comics, you have Egyptian history, there's the show's creatives and Marvel's team, then you have your own ideas. How is that balancing act kind of played when you're working throughout these designs? Because there's so many potential ways to go.
I had a really great time because I did so much of my own personal research before kind of coming in and collaborating with the team. And I collaborated not only with Marvel, but also the production designer and the cinematographer, and how the shots were going to be, and what the lighting was going to be, and how to incorporate the costumes in the set, or how we can do the modern costumes with like in those characters with incorporating Egyptian culture. So all of that was like so much fun, and there's so many Easter eggs throughout the entire series. So it's cool that the fans can go back now with the Blu-ray and kind of like really look at all of those details.
Yeah, and I was curious, Oscar Isaac also worked as a EP on this. Did he have much input when it came to like his outfits and costumes, or how was it kind of collaborating with him?
Oscar is super collaborative, and so it was so great because we really like talked through all of the Moon Knight suit and Mr. Knight, and then the other like modern characters that he was playing. So I think the cool thing was is that I had a conversation with him prior, and then he was on another job, so I flew to New York and we did a fitting, and like we instantly had like the Mark Spencer character, we instantly had that down like in 2 seconds. So it was really about and like the Mr. Knight costume like instantly. So it was really about kind of figuring out like Moon Knight in a way, and like what he wanted and how to incorporate it into the world. And so, and at that point the suit had not really been built. We were still in like the development stage. So it was great to incorporate his ideas into that. And I've done other suits before. So I was very much like, I want it to be in pieces so that if the actor doesn't need, you we don't have to put like the mask on, and we don't need to put like different things on, just for the actor comfortability and also the durability of the suit. So it was great kind of talking through all of that with him.
I think what one element that really impresses me about your work on this show is that you can just kind of look at the suits and you get the personality of that version of the character.
Yeah.
Can you speak to just your approach to really embedding the personalities, because there are different personalities here, into the actual costume design and how that process is? Because I was really blown away.
Well, I think just for in any costume design you do, you have to bring that into the factor of like how the actor wants to play this character, how the director sees this character, what's going to be the trajectory over the course of the show. So, um, with Moon Knight, we wanted to have like a toughness and a balance to that, but also not like so overpowering. So it was about building out like the shoulder, but having full mobility to do all of the moves, so there would be no hindrance. For the Mr. Knight, I think I love so much about that is when Oscar is playing Mr. Knight, and he kind of like sees himself in the reflection for the first time in the bus, and he's kind of like doing one of these and moving all around, like, oh my gosh, look, I'm this cool character and stuff. So playing with the fun aspect of that. Um, but with the contemporary costumes, I think one was like Arthur Harrow with Ethan. I had very long conversations with him about. I did a lot of research on cult leaders and religious figures, and with a cult leader, there's like always something interesting. So I was telling him about that. Like there's a pair of glasses, or there's like a watch or a belt, or there's something. And he also wanted to bring in the fact of like this calmness and like the calmness of like a monk and how like they wear this, I was like, oh well, they always wear this kind of amber color. Like we could incorporate things like that. So having those details and having then Arthur wear this like very interesting odd sandal, it was kind of like the character beat to help like build those character ideas with Ethan, and that kind of incorporated into how he played the actor, or played the
That,
character.
that's really cool. And I wanted to ask because the hippo goddess is one of my favorite costumes, and it's so colorful and it really stands out. How was it just working on that, and what was kind of the mindset between making it such a gorgeous outfit?
Towerette was a favorite. I really love making that costume. So we made everything in house except for obviously like the hippo head was CG, that was had some help. So I was really excited because I wanted to build all of the details within like the headpiece, and like there's an Egyptian in the tombs and in Egyptian culture there was like a fertility Egyptian dance, and so like I had a metalsmith and he hammered that into the headpiece, and then we made all the jewelry in house. And so I wanted there to be some vibrancy and life in that costume that maybe the sand and the aging hadn't taken over for as for other characters. And so it was a lot of fun, and my team did an amazing job.
And then my last question for you. I saw you worked on Civil War, and I really loved that film. So I wanted to ask about that experience and coming up with these costumes that really showed like the wear and tear and just what everybody was going through. What was kind of the mindset behind that?
I really collaborated with the director, Alex Garland, and I use the same mindset on every job as I do a tremendous amount of research. So I really researched like war journalists and what their life would be. And I read an amazing book by Lindsay Addario, who's a real life war photographer, and just how I could incorporate that into Kirsten's character and also Kaylee Spaney's character. And then researching what the rest of the world would look like in that. So the collaborative effort, again, like I always love collaborating with the full team. So it was a phenomenal experience. So thank you